I'm Diana Hinchcliffe. I'm president of RPEA, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. I'm just going to give a little bit of instruction and tell you what you're going to hear this morning, and then we'll get into the details of the meeting. So first, I want to introduce our staff who is on in this meeting. So Sharon Beauregard is our health benefit. Thank you. Kathleen just reminded me I'm muted. Thank you. Did you hear me from the beginning, or do I need
No.
to? No, sorry about that. I'm Diana Hinchcliffe. I'm president of RPEA. Thank you all for taking the time to join us. We're only going to be an hour. We promise to keep to the time. I'm going to do some introductions, tell you what you're going to hear during the meeting, and then we'll get to the information. So first, I want to introduce our staff who is with us today. So Kathleen Liberty, our terrific membership coordinator and all around chief cook and bottle washer, is you've heard from her already. Sharon Beauregard is our health insurance and health benefits expert. So she's going to be giving a presentation about our health insurance and benefits. We also will have, I don't know if she's on yet, but she may be, Candy Marrero, who is our other benefits specialist. She'll be telling you about the other benefits we have with you can take advantage of. We have our interim executive director, Alan Dorn. Ed Farrell is no longer with RPEA. We are looking for a new executive director, and Alan, who's a former executive director, agreed to take on the responsibility in the interim until we find a permanent executive director. So Alan's with us. And we also have some board members on here, so thank you for that. And I think that will do it for introductions for the moment. I do ask you to please mute yourself if you are not, so that we don't have any noise or anything else. You can unmute yourself if you need to, but for questions, we would ask you to please put them into the chat. And if you look at the bottom of your screen, one of those little icons says chat. If you click on it, it brings up a little screen, and you can write your questions into the chat. And then we will monitor those and we'll answer them. I also, forgot to introduce Charisse Wells, who's with us from Corning Place Communications. She's going to give a presentation as well, and she'll monitor the chat for us. So here's what you're going to hear this morning. We're going to get a legislative update from our lobbyists to tell you what went on in the legislative session, and especially with respect to issues that we're interested in. Then Charisse is going to, Charisse, is Emily with you today? Or is it just you?
Nope, it'll just be me.
Okay, so Charisse is going to tell us about how many contacts it takes to get a prospective member to join. So this will be information you can use when you're trying to help recruit new members. Then Candy Marrero, our benefits specialist, she will talk about, and she'll give an overview of the other benefits other than health insurance that we offer. And she's going to talk about one particular benefit, which is Emblem Health, because there are some programs they have that you can take advantage of. And then finally, Sharon Beauregard, who's on our staff, she's our health benefits expert in-house, in staff, and she can talk about things like Medicare, Empire Plan, HMOs. So, and then we'll have time for Q&A if you'll put your questions and comments into the chat. So that's the wrap up. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to start with our legislative update. Who's with us from our lobbyists? Is it Katie or Kevin? Who's
Katie Homan, I'm here.
There you are. Katie Homan, who's our lobbyist extraordinaire. So she's going to give us an update on the legislative session.
Diana, I just see somebody just put a question in the chat. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, let's see. Today is the first time I heard Ed Farrell's no longer has information of his departure been sent out. No, not yet. We're going to put a notice in the next newsletter to inform the entire membership.
And one other question just popped up. I don't know
Yep.
if we want to do them as they come.
Well, I can answer this one too.
Okay.
One of our members has been retired for 3 years and hasn't received their final pension numbers. Yes, we know. I attend meetings of the controllers and one of the advisory committees for the controllers for the pension system. And every meeting, this issue comes up, and every meeting he's very apologetic. But what he says is, like all state agencies, they do not have enough people to do the pension calculations. During the pandemic, a lot of state employees retired, they left, and that has left every single state agency short, including the controller's office. So they are getting to them as fast as they can. As you know, well, you may not, but those of us who did this a long time ago know it takes some time to do those meetings and create the pension calculations. So he apologizes, and the message is that they will get to you. They know you're on the list, and they'll notify you when they can take you. And that's the answer for that. It's unfortunate that you have to wait, but they just can't do anything more. Okay. So let's Katie, so if you would give us your whoop, yeah, give us your update, please, Katie, and she's
Can
gonna
you,
share her
yeah,
screen. There we go.
can you see my update here?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Homan. I am RPEA's legislative representation. I'm just going to give you a little update on the 2024 legislative session and then the upcoming 2024 primary and general election in the fall. The Senate and Assembly have adjourned. The Senate left on Friday afternoon and the Assembly went through the evening on Friday and adjourned early on Saturday. They are not expected to come back, but I will talk about some things throughout the PowerPoint of some items that have left open. As you know, each year we have a budget process that kicks off session. The governor presents her budget and then the legislature has to respond. We tend to do this in a very short time frame. It gets introduced the end of January and we need a budget by April 1. This year, our final budget was $237 billion. That was $7 billion over the governor's initial amount. And we were about 3.5 weeks late on our budget. So throughout this budget process, we did have to have a few state extenders to make sure that the state was operating, that employees were being paid, that pensions were being sufficed, and different things like that to kind of keep the daily operations. But we did come to a budget. Nothing really exciting happened in this budget. It was sort of lackluster. We do know that things like mayoral control were dealt with and some housing issues that kind of really affect more of the New York City area. We were successful in keeping some information out of the budget. The governor had presented Part S, which would affect IRMA benefits. We were able to keep that out, which we have the past few years. It sort of pops up on the governor's side and the legislature always rejects it. So one of the things we always keep an eye on, and it was not included, which we were happy about. Some of the different things that happened in the budget, as Diana alluded to in terms of staffing for state agencies, is civil service is becoming a very large topic in terms of employees at the state level. Each agency is extremely depleted. We're not seeing as many people entering into public service. So there was a big move this session to what they call Fix the Six, which directly related to Tier 6 level. There wasn't much done except for possibly calculating different individuals' salaries. So if you are Tier 6, your retirement would be based on your top 3 years of your salary. So that's what you would retire with based on your Tier 6 status. Assemblymember Pfeffer Amato and Senator Jackson sort of deal with this in their chairmanship as those committees. They have committed to fixing this. We're seeing not just state agencies, but school boards, school individuals, libraries, corrections officers, sheriffs, 911 dispatchers. It's affecting across the board at the state, local, and municipal level. So we can expect to maybe see some more changes come down the line, maybe next session. We have talked a large bit about legislation that we were supporting this session. One of the bills was a Zabrowski-Harcum bill, which relates to retirees and public employers for their insurance benefits. So this bill would sort of counteract what's happening in New York City, saying that nothing can be done without legislative approval for retiree health benefits. We had really good momentum on this legislation. We were working with other retiree groups. We were able to have a rally in the Capitol building this year. Sharice was really helpful with that. She was great in kind of getting the information out on this bill. We worked closely with her on making sure we identify sponsors and getting that information out. We did have good momentum. However, at the 11th hour, the last week of session, we were told that the unions were vehemently opposed to this bill. So Zabrowski and Harcum sort of walked back their push at the end of session. So we'll be continuing to work on this legislation and we'll keep you posted. We're hoping it gets reintroduced next year, and we will make sure we're letting everybody know kind of where the status is. It wound up in the 2 final committees in both houses, however, never made it to the floor for a vote. Another bill that we introduced in the legislature is identical health benefits for public retirees. This relates specifically to skilled nursing facilities. We have had this bill passed in both houses. It was vetoed by the governor. We've been working diligently to find out where civil service lands on this, trying to identify the exact fiscal implication of this bill. We're continuing to work on that. Again, the bill made it to the 2 final committees, but never to the floor for a vote. And it is sponsored by Senator Breslin. As many of you may know, he is retiring after this year. So we'll be working with Assemblyman McDonald on a new sponsor come January. Another bill that we had introduced in the legislature is a COLA bill for the cost of living adjustments. This is carried by both chairmen in the House for Senate Civil Service and government employees. We did have the bill introduced. We did have to make amendments to it based on a fiscal note. So we're continuing to work on this. This item comes with a large fiscal implication, and based on sort of where the state is in a deficit, regardless of the spending that we had in our budget, the legislature chose not to do any large fiscal implication bills at the end of session. So something we continue to work on. We will be working with the governor's office throughout this summer to talk about this legislation and the fiscal implication, but it is something that needs to be done. So we will continue to push this. And then another bill we've sort of talked about is single payer. RPEA does belong to a coalition called Realities of Single Payer Healthcare. This bill is pushed by Senator Rivera and Assemblywoman Paulin. The Senate has taken a stance that they will not do this. However, it does have a lot of sponsors in both houses. This does come up a lot. The Realities of Single Payer Healthcare Coalition has been very good this year at sort of rebranding things and pushing coverage for all rather than a single payer system. So we're keeping an eye on this bill, but as a coalition of Realities of Single Payer, they are sort of supporting coverage for all, which really talks about the gap in coverage, which is only about 4% of the state that does not have health insurance coverage. So again, something we track, we keep an eye on, but really trying to talk to our legislative allies on not using this legislation and pushing something else.
Katie, can
This
I
is also,
introduce, may I?
oh yeah,
Katie,
sure.
just
Yep.
let me interrupt you for a second.
Mhm.
We have a note in the chat that asks if you can make the your screen larger because people can't see. We're looking at a double screen. One is it's a split screen. One
Okay.
side is what is the next slide, and the other one is the slide you're on. So if you could just
I'll see if I can do, I will make sure that you guys get a copy of the slide deck after too. So I'll make sure I send that to Kathleen so she has it. I'm not sure how to slideshow options. Not sure how to.
You might have to
that
do
out,
it. You might have to do it on hide presenter view. Try that.
That takes me back. Can't you see my whole PowerPoint then?
Right,
Oh
but
no, you can see it. Okay,
but
I
the
got
screen
it.
is larger. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see just the one slide right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's a bill we're keeping an eye on, as mentioned. At the end of session, there were a few high-profile items, not necessarily related to us, but different things. Some bills regarding Safe Act for Kids, which deals with social media platforms, Climate Change Superfund, Some bills that benefit EMS workers in the state, short-term rental registries, and then accelerating downstate casino license. Those are sort of the hot ticket items that took precedent at the end of this session. And then some ticket items that were talked about but not passed was an extended producer responsibility package. This has been floating around for years. It was supposed to make it across the finish line, however, passed the Senate but never made anywhere in the Assembly. The bottle bill, the state collecting 10 cents instead of 5 cents on recyclables. And then the New York Heat Act, which would get rid of natural gas stoves, which is a hot topic, but again, did not go anywhere. And then we had a fun little addition to the end of session with the governor announcing that she was putting an indefinite pause on congestion pricing for New York City. This has lots of ramifications in different areas. This was something the state's been working on for years. There was a large fiscal implication of this based on the marketing campaign, what went into congestion pricing, and what was expected to be for the city of New York State. This was supposed to be a reoccurring revenue for the MTA, which was expected to be about $15 billion over the first few years. That currently leaves our state budget gap at $1 billion right now. So the governor announced this on Tuesday via recorded message, and then was expecting the legislature to act on this and authorize $1 billion to be moved from the general fund to the MTA. The legislature refused. So now we're sort of looking at a budget deficit through our fiscal year that goes into March 31st. We haven't even gotten through our first quarter of the state fiscal year, so I don't know what this looks like, if the state legislature will be required to come back to fill this hole. But this is definitely something we're keeping an eye on just based on our whole financial plan here in New York State. We were told that the governor did this as a nod to the federal government heading into primaries, especially for some tight congressional races on Long Island and even New Jersey. So we'll be keeping an eye on this and probably letting you know and updating Diana, maybe to include some of the stuff in your newsletter, just kind of the state of play of where Albany is right now. And then that kind of leads us into what's happening. We have primaries coming up in 2 weeks on June 25th. We had Senator Kennedy, who left the Senate. He is now a congressional member for the 26th district. That was a special election. So there will be some jockeying around on the Senate side come next year on who will be on what committees and what members on committees. So we always keep an eye on that, especially with so many members retiring over the next year. Some of note for you guys is Senator Breslin. He's been a very large ally of us. He is retiring. So we will be kind of monitoring who takes his place. It will most likely be Assemblywoman Fahey, who's from this area, but it'll be most important of who takes the chairmanship for the Insurance Committee on the Senate side. Another member of note is Assemblymember Helene Weinstein. She runs the Ways and Means Committee. That's the financial committee on the Assembly side. She is retiring, so somebody will be a new chair of that committee, which is something we'll be keeping a close eye on as well. We're losing probably, as of right now, we have about 25 members across both houses that will be retiring or not running for re-election. That is always a large number. That means we will have 20 to 30 new members come January. And again, there's opportunities and challenges with that. We always say, we have to school them up on who you guys are quickly. We may be engaging with you guys to really reach out to your local Senate and Assembly members, letting them know who you are if they're new, what they could do to help, what we could do to help. So, these will be ongoing discussions throughout the rest of the year. And then that's about it. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I see questions popping up in the chat. So Diana, do you want me to answer them, or how do you?
Yeah, there are a couple that relate to your presentation. There are some that are
Okay.
going to relate to a later presentation. So one of
Okay.
them is the bill regarding skilled nursing facilities also excludes payment to inpatient rehabilitation facilities.
I'm sorry, what? Is that?
The skilled nursing facilities bill also excludes payment to inpatient rehabilitation facilities.
Are you asking me, or
Yeah, can you comment on that?
Oh, so right now it just makes sure you get the same benefits as somebody who's in the current system. So it makes sure you have no depletion of any benefits. So you will receive the exact same benefits that a current employee at the state has. It does
Okay.
not talk about exclusion of payments.
And there was one other, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, actually, even I can answer this. To paraphrase the question, it's a question about whether, as some of you who were MCs, which I was one of those, in about 2010, we lost a year or so of salary because the governor at the time wanted to save some money for the budget. And the question is, would we be getting? Would everybody please mute themselves? The question is, would we be getting that back pay returned to us? And the answer is, it's on our list of legislative items. We do mention it to the legislature. I would not bet on it. It's been 14 years, and I doubt the legislature is going to do anything about it, which is unfortunate. It affects me too. Would everybody please mute themselves? We're having some noise. Thank you. So I'm sorry to have to say, but I don't think we can count on that, and that affects me as well. So,
I think there's one more question too, that I have been tracking them, that relates to her presentation. Has RPEA approached the administration on the magnitude of this increase? This is relating to Empire's family plan increased $80 a month on January 1st, a 16% increase, far exceeding medical inflation, and our COLA retirees covering only spouses are forced to use the family plan instead of an individual plan. And it also lists a bill number that they believe rectifies the problem. It's A8602 Jones.
We have not engaged on that. That's something we can put on our legislative committee to talk about, Diana, if we want to
yep.
see
all
where
right.
the association's opinion on that bill and kind of what we have. We can strategize an approach to that.
Yeah, we can take a look at that, and Sharon Beauregard will cover that. We can also make a comment about that when she does her presentation as well. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. Many people don't real. Many people don't real. We're hearing some conversation or noise. Could you please mute yourselves? Just double check to make sure that you are muted. Another question, many people don't realize that the insurance does not cover inpatient rehab facilities. That's insurance question. I'm going to ask Sharon if she'll tackle that when she gives her presentation as well. Does RPEA make recommendations on primary candidates? No, we do not support candidates. We don't endorse candidates. We don't tell people how to vote. All we do is we send out information about our legislation, and we will ask you to contact your legislators. That's as far as we go, but we do not engage politically that way. Okay. Thank you.
Dan, I saw one other question asking about the skilled nursing piece, I think, and if we engaged.
Oh, go
So
ahead.
we have engaged, we've been working on this issue for quite a few, I want to say about 5-6 years now, when we first identified that this was a depletion of benefits. We have reached out directly to civil service. We even talked about this as age discrimination with civil service. We've talked to the governor's office. We have sort of gone through the gamut. And then based on this legislation, we have talked about as an association, there is draft language we'd like to get introduced. I think Roanne DeStito really kind of teed this up for us to do a study bill, to require civil service to do a study on this. And then that helps us kind of look back at what the fiscal implication is. We're finding it harder and harder for the agencies to sort of give us this information. Diana, I don't know if we want to talk about foiling that we've undergone. I sort of want to leave that up to you.
Yeah, yes, with respect to the skilled nursing facility bill, as Katie mentioned before, we're having trouble getting fiscal or financial information. We have sent a FOIL, Freedom of Information Law request to civil service to ask them what data they used to determine what the cost of the skilled nursing facility bill would be, and we're waiting to hear from them. Okay, we need to move on, or we're not going to get through everybody's presentation. So thanks very much, Katie. We appreciate it. And next up is Charisse Wells. who, from Corning Place Communications, she takes care of all of our social media, Facebook, website communications. She's going to do a presentation. Membership development, recruitment, and retention is very, very important for us all the time. You know, we have to keep getting new members to keep our organization viable and alive. And so Charisse has done some research on how many contacts it takes to convince a prospective member to join. So Charisse, go ahead,
Thank
please.
you. And can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I will stay within my allotted time here, because I think that some of this we went through in our last town hall, so I don't want to be duplicative. So just to go through our efforts on the membership recruitment campaign front. This is a list of just kind of big picture, our ongoing efforts. We are doing paid digital advertisements on Google and social media. We're continuously managing our social media and posting new updates there as well as on the website. We are working with our partners, including Katie and the lobbyists, strategically to try to leverage some of our advocacy issues for earned media placements, which that helps twofold to benefit what we're trying to do with building membership, as well as just overall, getting RPEA out there and building momentum on those advocacy issues. And then we're also constantly working on other communications and support, newsletters, other graphics, etc. So jumping into the intro that Diane gave, when we're talking about membership, there's multiple touch points that take place with the efforts that are ongoing. And this is just an example of what those touch points might look like. At Corning Place and through our partnership with RPEA, we're always focused on layering our message several different ways to make sure that we're reaching everybody. And that includes our current members, letting all of you know that the updates that are coming out of Albany, out of the state capitol, updates from RPEA in general, and then also the number of ways that we're getting in front of prospective members. So we have, someone might see advertisements through Google when they're searching different things on Google. They might also see an ad on Facebook. We have a number of videos that are running there. They may talk to someone who's a former colleague or a friend or a family member who, if they're a current member, they might be talking to folks who could potentially be a member about the value of RPEA. Then there's also mailings that are sent out. And when we're talking about prospective members, all these touch points lead to, hey, let me learn more about RPEA. And then they Google RPEA to learn more, go to the website. And then they get another mailer again. And that's the point where they decide, okay, I'm going to join RPEA. I keep hearing about it. I'm seeing it. I'm learning more about the benefits and the value. And typically right now, we're all inundated with email, social media, snail mail, and it's about 15 touch points in general that you need these days. For anyone who does have a background in marketing, they used to say 7 touch points. We're up to at least 15 now. And that's why all of the members on this town hall, it's so important. And we really appreciate all of your engagement on our social media channels. And I'm just going to go through that quickly with you all. So we have nearly 3,000 followers on Facebook, more than 4,000 on LinkedIn. We're also on Twitter. Most of our efforts are on Facebook and LinkedIn because that's where our members and prospective members are. So when we're on social media, when we're liking posts, sharing them with our networks, commenting, there's a domino effect. So you're not only helping us build our membership because it's power in numbers, right? You're helping other members see updates from RPEA. So we're posting on our social media platforms all of the updates that are going on the advocacy front. If we have a virtual town hall, we'll post that. And by you sharing it with your network, you're helping us get in front of other members that may have missed the e-newsletter with the update or maybe didn't catch the last social media post. So all of your engagement on social media is really helpful. And if you do have your phone or a tablet nearby or another device and you want to just visit RPEA's Facebook page, you can give it a like and follow, and that'll make sure that you are seeing our updates in your news feed. So if you go to RPA's Facebook page, you just there'll be a little like button there. And there's also the 3 little dots on the page too. And we just want to make sure that you are actually following the page. That'll make sure that you get the updates from RPEA. And you can see the latest news coming out of headquarters. And so here's just a quick example of how that domino effect really helps everything that we're trying to do. So we posted an update, a letter to the editor that ran a Newsday. We have a ton of likes, a ton of shares, comments. By engaging with that post, we're able to significantly increase the number of people that are seeing it, seeing this update, and engaging with it. So that's the benefit of getting on social and sharing with your networks, and we appreciate everybody doing that. I also want to highlight the website. This is another significant resource for everyone. Under the news tab, which you'll find all the way on the right, there'll be constant updates there. We also have under the About Us, our testimonials page, where there's a number of videos of members, board members, just talking about some of the values of membership. So we encourage you to check those out, share them with folks who you may know who are not yet members of RPEA. And then we alluded to this earlier as well, just constantly looking for opportunities to get RPA in the news, because that not only helps us push our advocacy issues to the finish line and get more, influence public opinion that way to get legislators to act on our behalf. It also gets RPA in the news to help build membership and let people know, hey, we're out there, working to protect your earned benefits. That's just these are just some examples of some earned media we've had over the last year. And I know I ran through that fairly quickly, but just wanted to really underscore the social media aspect too, and the multiple touch points. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm here to help answer those. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thank you, Sharice. Yes, that was a little bit of a 90-mile-an-hour exceeding the
was.
speed limit, but thank you.
Want to keep us on time. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping us on track. So membership is critically important for our organization. Even those of you who have been retired for a while, we had, as we talked about before, we've had a lot of retirements during the pandemic, after the pandemic. And while we try to contact these folks and encourage them to join, what we find is the best method of getting people to join is person to person. Someone who's a member talking to somebody directly and convincing them that they really need to join RPEA. And after we get through with this meeting, you'll have all kinds of reasons to tell them why they should be joining RPEA. Some of you I know are involved in chapters. Going to chapter meetings is a good way to bring a guest to a chapter meeting, someone who's a potential member. And once they see what information is given or events that the chapters are sponsoring, that could get them interested to join. So there are a number of different ways to do it. We really encourage you to think about who would be a really good member for us, and do what you can to help us. We're trying, but we can't, we're trying as best we can, but we really need all of you to do the real person-to-person stuff that gets the members. And as Sharice mentioned, if you go on Facebook and you like Facebook and you tell people that you think could be members, go on our Facebook page, take a look at that. You'll see all kinds of information. If they are on other social media, go on that social media, because we're all over on social media. We also will, on our website, people can sign up for a trial to get our newsletter, just to see what we talk about in our newsletter, and that convinces people to join too. So if you know someone who's kind of on the fence, tell them to go to our website, sign up for the free trial. They'll get our newsletter for a couple of months, a couple of times, and maybe that will help them join. So any just last minute questions on that? No. Okay. All right, thank you, Sharice. Appreciate it. Sharice will be staying with us. She's going to monitor the general Q&A chat, so you'll hear from her a little bit later. Okay, because we have so many people with us, Candy Marrero, are you on with us?
I sure am.
Where are you? I can hear you.
I don't know. I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Here I am.
You're in the upper right on my screen. So Candy Marrero is our benefits specialist. She's going to give just a really brief, for those of you who weren't at this meeting last time, she's going to give just a really brief overview of the general benefits that we offer, programs that we offer. And then she's going to focus on one particular one, Emblem Health. And so what we'll do at these meetings in the future is she'll focus on a particular benefit. So that'll give you some in-depth information to see whether it's something that you would like to take advantage of. So Candy, take it away, please.
Thank you so much, Diana. First of all, I want to say that as an advocate for RPEA, I'm also a touch point to help your membership. You know, I am a Medicare specialist, and I go out and do presentations all over the Capital District, including the fact that I'm a Hudson Valley Community College trainer for Medicare under their adult education program. And so when I go to these seminars and training things that I do, I bring the RPEA brochure with me. And I'm always amazed at how many people, like I'm talking to state workers and federal retirees that don't know about RPEA. So I keep a stack of those brochures with me, and I hand them out every chance I get in every seminar I'm at. So I just wanted to let you know that that's another touch point that, is happening in the background. So, but with regard to your RPEA benefits, as Diana said, I'm the person who handles the benefits, at least as far as the dental and the vision go. The plans that I offer or that I administer or handle for you through your RPEA membership are, first of all, through Emblem Dental, which we're going to talk about last, which was your first program that has been in place for many, many years, like 30 years. But in addition to that, we've also added some programs over the years. We started adding programs for dental to be in addition to Emblem Health, because Emblem is not always good in every single state throughout the United States. And so I did a lot of research some years ago to find a more national plan, if you will, and we came up with MetLife Dental. That's your second option. And then the third option, which can be used in conjunction with either Emblem, Met, or by itself, is a program called AVS Dental. So you technically have three dental plans being offered to you. So we'll start with the AVS. The AVS is a discount dental program. So when somebody calls me about dental, I always tell them about AVS, because you can use it as a standalone or you can use it in conjunction with the other more fully comprehensive dental plans. So AVS gives you discounts on all dental plans, and certainly through all dental plans, you seeing a participating provider is so much different than seeing a non-participating provider. So we always, encourage people to see providers that participate with the plan. AVS Dental will give you around a 30% discount on all of your dental with no annual maximum. So it's a really nice addition to a fully comprehensive plan, but it's also good by itself because there's no annual maximum. So some people use it and actually get a better benefit than the fully comprehensive dental. So that's called AVS Dental Plan. That also has an annual cost of, I believe it's like $129 a year. And then through your RPEA membership, you get like a 20% discount on it. And then it's not a monthly thing. It's just a one annual benefit. Then your two fully comprehensive dental plans are first through MetLife, which I mentioned is one that we brought on because it has a more national, more national network, if you will. MetLife has been around a really long time, and they have a lot of providers across the full United States, where Emblem Dental started in New York State, has a great presence in New York State, as well as some other states, but it's a little short in some of them. In the Carolinas, it's not so good. It's a little iffy in there through other states, but we offer MetLife so that we can have a full comprehensive dental plan to offer to all the RPEA members. The dental through MetLife is a little bit more expensive than the dental through Emblem Dental. The MetLife goes by each region of each state. So it averages about $40 to $45 a month for the fully comprehensive dental plan. But again, I have to run a quote for each and every person that calls based on their zip code. So it can vary just a little bit, but it runs $40, $45 a month. And then the Emblem Dental, I should have probably started with the vision program so that I could end with the dental. So I apologize for that. I just thought of that this second. So let me just back up a second and then I'll kind of catch up. We also offer through your RPEA membership, a vision program, a fully comprehensive vision program through what they call VSP, which is Vision Specialist Program. And it's a nationwide carrier. So, it doesn't matter what state you're in. There are lots and lots of VSP providers. What you get from VSP, it's $9.50 a month for a single. It's double that for a husband and wife, and it's like $30 if you have any children. So for a full family. And what you get for that benefit, you get an annual eye exam, and then in addition, you get free lenses, both single vision, double vision, bifocal, trifocal. I shouldn't have said double vision. That was a horrible notation for vision. So single vision, single lenses, bifocal, trifocal, all included for free. And then in addition, you get $200 plus 20% off of frames. So if you went in, let's say, just for example, let's say it's a $400 pair of glasses. I don't know how much they are. If 200 of that, if, for example, was the lenses, you'd get those for free. And then if your frames were 200, you would get those for free. If they were 300, you would get 200 off. And then for the extra 100, you would get 20% off of that. So you'd end up paying about $80 for about a $500 pair of glasses, give or take. Certainly there's extras with vision, you get your transition and, all those other, things that you can get. And all of them have at least a 20% discount, which you get because of your RPEA benefits. And it's a really great, fully comprehensive vision plan. And again, for $9.50 a month, it's just a really great benefit offer to you. So, and lastly, on the vision, in addition to the vision benefit with VSP, there's also a value added benefit on top of that for a discounted hearing aid benefit. So it's about 50% off of hearing aids because you've taken this VSP vision plan. So when I send out information in regards to VSP, when people are, only calling about the vision, I will also send out the hearing aid information. You have to actually call the number that's on the sheet that I'll send you and, tell them about your RPEA benefit or your RPEA number and all of that. But it's a great program. So now quickly going back to Emblem Health. So we talked about AVS Dental, which is your discount dental program, can be used by itself or in conjunction with a fully comprehensive dental. And we talked about MetLife, which is a fully comprehensive dental program in place mainly for the mere fact that it has a better national network than Emblem Health. If you're in New York State, which I believe many, many of our members are, probably Emblem Health is going to always be your best bet because what's different about Emblem compared to any other dental, not just compared to MetLife, which is offered to you, but I, as a health insurance broker, handle lots of dental carriers, including Delta Dental, Guardian Dental, and some others. And when I compare all of those dental programs that I have to offer to, all of my clients, there's nothing really that compares as well as this Emblem Dental program that you have. It was initially designed to mirror the state contract that was offered, years and years ago, and it has never been changed other than when I deal with Emblem Health, which I meet with them quarterly on your behalf. I try to get as much extra benefit as we can, and we try to always keep your rates down. And we haven't had a rate increase in a few years, but I have gotten them to increase your benefits. So I think it was last year we actually added a benefit that nobody else has, which which is implants. So with your Emblem Dental, you get a fully comprehensive dental program for about $22 a month, which is almost unheard of. And unlike MetLife, which if you're in a different region or a different state could be more money, the Emblem Dental plan is across the board the same. So if you live here in New York, or you live in California, or you live, somewhere mid country, it doesn't really matter. It's the same price. It's the $22. So it's a really great benefit. The way Emblem works is it's broken down into 3 plans. You get your basic, you get your 50%, and you get your 80%. Let me just tell you quickly what all that means. So when you sign up for dental for the first time with Emblem Dental, you only can sign up for the basic program, which sounds horrible, except the basic program is probably better than almost every dental program out there, no matter if they call it basic or not. With Emblem, the basic covers everything at 100%. Everything that it covers at 100%. So your regular dental is your preventative, is your cleanings, your x-rays, your exams. That's almost always covered at 100% for all the dental carriers that I work with. But your restorative, which is your fillings, extractions, root canals, oral surgery, all of that, for every carrier that I have ever worked with besides Emblem, it is an 80-20 benefit. So they pay 80%, you pay 20. But through your RPEA membership, through Emblem Dental Program, the basic plan pays 100% for all of those benefits. So fillings, extractions, root canals, oral surgery is all paid at 100%, as long as you see an Emblem Dental participating provider. And if you need to get a list of those providers, you contact me. I will look them up for you and send you over a PDF with all of the dentists in that area. So again, your preventative is 100% covered, cleanings, x-rays, exams. Your restorative, which is your fillings, extractions, root canals, oral surgery, all 100% through Emblem Dental, through your RPEA membership. Now, what's not covered, because there's 3 sections of dental in all dental plans: your preventative, your basic, they call it, and then your major. In the basic program, you don't get major services, but it's really not as detrimental, an awful thing as it sounds, because even though the other carriers all cover basic major in their initial offering, in terms of it being something that's on your sheet as covered, there's always a 12-month waiting period for major services on almost all dental plans. So through MetLife, it looks like, oh yeah, they charge a little bit more, but they cover the major services. Well, it looks that way until you really read it. They cover the major services after 12 months. So you're paying for that plan for 12 months without those services anyway. So you're better off taking the Emblem Dental, only paying the $22 for the basic plan and not getting the major services for 12 months anyway. And then after 12 months, you can call me and you can upgrade to the 50% plan, which gives you 50% off of major services. Major services consists of crowns, bridge work, dentures, and implants. So the first year you don't get those services, but you're not paying for them because it's only $22 anyway. The next year, after 12 months, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to the 50%. The rate about doubles. It's about $40 to $45, but that's your average cost of dental with major services anyway. And then what's nice about Emblem also is after 12 months on the 50%, you actually could upgrade to the 80%, and they would pay 80% of your major and you would pay 20%. The only downside to upgrading is that once you upgrade, you cannot downgrade. So you can stay on the the basic program forever if you'd like, but you can upgrade anytime after 12 months, whether it be 12 months later or 5 years later. You want to upgrade to the 50%, you can do that. And then again, after 12 months of being on the 50%, you can upgrade to the 80. But once you upgrade to 50, you can't go back down to basic. And once you upgrade to 80, you can't go back to 50. So those are, in a nutshell, as quickly as I could tell you what your benefits are through me. I'm here to help you in any way that I can. We will send out information based on your zip code and the cost and all of the information that for your RPEA benefits. And should you want to sign up for any of those benefits, you would then call me back and I can take your application right over the phone.
Okay, thank you, Candy. Now, we have a couple of questions about what you're talking about, but we have to move on. So would you give us your email address and your phone number, and then people can call you with their questions and you can answer them directly?
I sure will. I'll put it right in the chat and feel free to contact me anytime. Thank you so much, everyone.
Just give it to us vocally and put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
please.
Okay, sure. My email's kind of long. So it's Candy, C-A-N-D-Y, at Worksite Benefits. That's the name of my company. So it's Worksite, W-O-R-K-S-I-T-E, benefits with an S, B-E-N-E-F-I-T-S. Then it's INC.net.
So it's
And my
Candy at
Yep.
Candy at worksitebenefits.net.
No,
Sorry, do it
Candy,
again.
Candy at worksitebenefitsinc.net.
Okay.
So it's INC Incorporated, Candy
And-
at worksitebenefitsinc.net.
And
And my number is 518-326-3939.
okay, all
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you, Candy. And here's a little heads up. We're going to be going over 12 o'clock. Not by much, but we want to give everybody a chance to do their presentations. So our next presenter is one of our staff members, in-house staff member, Sharon Beauregard, who's our healthcare and benefits expert. She can talk about Medicare, Empire Plan, HMOs. Sharon, is there any kind of general news you want to give us before people have some questions? And if you do have questions, put them in the chat. There are a couple that are in the chat already that we can ask Sharon too.
Hi, my name is Sharon and I am the member services rep here at RPEA. Before I retired, I did work at the Department of Civil Service. The biggest questions that we always receive are for the Empire Plan, the silver sneakers. People always want to know if the Empire Plan will incorporate silver sneakers. And Civil Service has told us that, it's part of a negotiated benefit and a collective bargaining between New York State and the unions and the state workforce, and they don't plan to incorporate silver sneakers at any time in the future. Another one of the questions we get is the 1+1 option. People want to know at this time, why can't they have the 1+1 option? And Civil Service has considered it as an alternative rate structure. But at this time, it is not a premium that they are going to work through to give the 1+1 option to retirees as well as New York State employees. And finally, CDPHP is going to be joining with the Lifetime Healthcare companies, the parent company of Excelis and Univera. I contacted Civil Service and they have informed me that there were no known immediate impacts as a result of the planned affiliation. And they will be working to maintaining their brand within the community. So those are three things that have been always asked, and CDPHP is a new thing going on. Do I have any questions?
Yes, let me just read the couple that are in the chat from before. Let's see here. Just give me a minute while I go through this to see what we have here. Okay, so someone says their sick leave credit is $300 a month for health insurance premiums. In addition, New York State is also contributing to health insurance, yet United Healthcare pays me nothing for my healthcare expenses since I am on Medicare as primary. This seems like United Healthcare is profiting from collecting huge premiums without paying out for medical expenses. Is this wrong? Can you comment on that?
So New York State Health Insurance Program, they require that their members enroll in Medicare Parts A and Part B. And because they do this, they reimburse their enrollees for the Medicare Part B premium. So Medicare does pay 80%, and the NISHIP is 20% of reasonable and customary charges after Medicare pays. So a lot of times you do not see where United Healthcare pays. That could come into where your copay is, but it is part of civil service law, so.
Okay. Someone else says, I was a CO, I'm assuming that's corrections officer, for 24.7 years and injured on the job. I was terminated after being on comp for a year. They told me my only option was a 35% disability pension. Is there someone I can contact to see if there's an option for a better pension?
This person can send me their name and phone number, and I can reach out to the retirement system to see if they can answer his questions, but I don't have any knowledge of that.
Okay, would you give us your email address so people can contact you?
Sure, it's SBEAUREGARD@rpea.org.
Okay. So that's Chris, and if you would contact Sharon, she'll help you with that. Here's another question. Empire Family Plan increased $82 per month on January 1st, a 6% increase, far exceeding the medical inflation and our COLA. Retirees covering only spouses are forced to use the family plan instead of individual plan. Okay, so you've addressed that. That's the 1.1, and they're not likely to do anything about that. That issue also comes up at our annual meeting all the time, and they're not inclined to fix that, even though there actually is a reason for it, and the reason for it is because people who would take advantage of a 1+1 plan are generally older, they're retired, they may have more health problems, and so it might result in a greater premium if they just isolated people on a 1-to-1 plan. So there's the downside of doing that. Let's see if there's something else in here. Just bear with me here.
Diana, I was collecting
Oh.
questions too. I'm happy to assist with that.
Oh, okay. I was just, we're going to do that with the Q&A, the general Q&A. I just wanted to target the healthcare for Sharon.
Got it. Yep.
Let's see. I think, okay, so I think, bear with me here. Oh, does NISHIP United Healthcare pay when Medicare does not cover, provided that the provider is in network?
Okay, United Healthcare, the Empire Plan will not pay for what Medicare would not have paid. So if Medicare wasn't going to pay for that benefit, then United Healthcare does not.
Okay. And that's why, by the way, it's really important before you get any kind of care or treatment to make sure that the person who's the provider is in the network for your insurance company, your insurance plan. Okay, I think that's all the questions I see. You have Sharon's email. If anything else comes up after the meeting that you can think of, send her an email and she'll give you an answer to your question. So thanks, Sharon, very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we are at the point where we can have a general Q&A about anything you've heard or anything else. So Charisse is now going to monitor this part of the chat, if you will.
We have a few to start that have come in over the last hour. So the first, it appears that the current employees believe that the benefits of retirees can be negotiated away and they can then benefit current employees. How can this way of thinking be changed? And I believe that's what RPEA is working on with their lobbyists, but That's the
Ye-
first question.
Yeah, and I can answer that one. And this is something that those of you who are in the retiree divisions of your unions, if you were a union member, need to be aware of. We always encourage people, if you were a member of a union and you're now in the retiree division of your union and your membership is there, by all means, keep your membership there and also remain as a member of RPEA. And here's why. And this is an issue that we're dealing with legislatively as well. The unions, by law, can only negotiate on behalf of their active employees. They cannot negotiate on behalf of their retired members. RPA is the only organization, we can't negotiate anyway either because we don't have authority in law to negotiate, but we're the only organization that our sole purpose is to focus on retirees and their issues and their needs. So what the unions will do is when they go to the bargaining table, they will try to get something for their membership, their active workers. But what happens is they're usually told, okay, if you want us to give you that, then you have to give up some benefit. And mostly what they do is they will give up retiree benefits. This is happening, for example, with health insurance in New York City and other locations around the state, where in New York City, the city administration wanted to put the city retirees into a healthcare plan that was a Medicare Advantage plan that was not the plan that they retired with. Now, there's nothing wrong with a Medicare Advantage plan as long as the person is allowed, the retiree is allowed to choose that that's the plan they want to be with. But the city and localities around the state are trying to force their retirees into Medicare Advantage plans that are going to cost the municipality less, but they may not provide the same coverage for the employee as the healthcare plan that they retired with. So that was one of the bills that Katie talked about before, where it has a lot of support, but it just didn't get passed at the end of the session. And it's a bill that says retirees should receive permanently the health care that they retired with. So we're going to be doing more work on that. But that's the explanation. It's that the unions will bargain away retiree benefits in favor of their active employees. It's unfortunate. There's really nothing we can do except to try to get this bill passed, and that's what we're going to work on. So I hope that answers that question.
The next question, might our health benefits be written into law as it was about to be under Governor Spitzer when he resigned?
Yeah, that's what I just addressed. That law that I just talked about would in fact require that retirees receive the health benefits that they retired with, that they can't be changed.
New York State used to have pre-retirement meetings. If they're still occurring, RPA might consider being a part of them. It's a great way to get new members once they retire.
Yeah, we did our chapters used to do pre-retirement seminars. That it went away during the pandemic because the Department of, or rather the Controller's Office would send out their representatives to make presentations at these pre-retirement seminars. They don't do that anymore. For the reason we talked about before, they just don't have enough people to send out anymore. So now each state agency is, as I understand it, is holding its own pre-retirement seminars. So people who are in a specific agency will contact their human resources department and they can go through that with their own agency.
Next question, what is the income ceiling for IRMA qualification?
I don't remember. It changes every year. Actually, you can go online and you can just, Google IRMA in New York State and it'll bring up what the income is. What we do every year for our members is we send out a notice when it's time for people to apply for an IRMA reimbursement. we send out a notice and it tells you where you can get the form or we'll send out the form. And so you can apply that way. So you're always notified. But you can also go on to, I think it's Civil Services website, and you can download the form as well. So I can't answer the question about the exact income level, but you can find that information.
Okay, we have another question. I live in PA and want to know if it looks like the New York Health Plan will pass.
I'm not sure what the New
Maybe,
York,
is that the single
not
payer? Is that what, I'm not sure what they're referring to.
I'm not sure what the New York Health Plan is. I'm not,
Okay, we'll see if they expand on that in the next
Yeah,
couple
but
minutes. I'll
if
go
you
to
wanna-
another question.
yeah, thank you. Put that into the chat. Whoever asked that question will expand on it.
Any chance that retired MCs will ever see the 9% raises withheld while we were working?
Yeah, we addressed that before, and the answer is no, it's not going to happen.
And then one other one related to skilled nursing. My assemblyman, Joe Angelino, called me back, became a co-sponsor of a bill for skilled nursing. He was very supportive, didn't have the information until I emailed him. Is there a reason why he might not have the information? Is there a way we can get him the information?
Yeah, I can't answer the first part of the question. I don't know why he didn't have it, because our lobbyists are really very good about talking to members of the legislature. But if you will send an email to who? Kathleen, to you, and then we can tell you how to, then we can give you information to give to the legislative member. Is that the best way to do that, do you think?
Yes,
Okay, Kathleen, would you give us your email address?
it's K Liberty, so Liberty like the statue, so KLIBERTY at RPEA.org.
Okay, and then we'll take care of that for you.
It looks like we have
Oh,
two more questions. Yep.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
It was, yes, the single payer plan. That's what the question was
Oh.
before. So it looked like it's going to pass in New York.
Oh,
I think no.
like the Medicare, it was a Medicare for all plan. Yeah, that doesn't have universal support in the legislature, and the assemblyman who championed that bill for many, many years has retired. It was taken up again, but it really didn't receive any attention. There's a lot of opposition to it. So it certainly didn't pass this year. It may come up next year. We'll just have to watch it and see if it does.
And how may I find my local chapter?
Ah, okay. Email Kathleen and she can tell you where your chapter is, which chapter is yours.
We also have a list of the chapters on the RPA website as well. If you'd like to go there, you can see the chapters that are listed. They're right under the chapters has its own tab right on the website. You can visit there as well. Another question, does RPA continue to support S8388 is the bill number?
I would have to, I don't know what bill number, I don't know
It
what bill
looks
it is.
like it is, I'm just pulling it up very
Oh.
quickly.
Protection bill.
Protects the health insurance benefits of retirees, of public employers. Oh yeah, it's the Harcum bill.
Oh, right,
Yes.
that's right.
Yep.
That's the bill that would say a municipality can't change your health benefits after you retire. That's that one. So yes, of course, we support that in a big way, and we'll do that again in the next session.
And that's the bill we rallied with the New York City Organization of Retirees in April
Right.
too. We had a big rally
Exactly.
at the state capitol.
Right.
That's
by the
last
way,
question I see.
That information and a video about that rally are on our website if you want to go take a look at that.
I don't see any other questions currently in the chat.
Oh, I see a statement here. Most doctors do not accept Medicare Advantage. It depends on the Medicare Advantage, not Medicare generally. It depends on the Medicare Advantage plan. So, for example, I'm with CDPHP. I live in the Albany area, so practically every single provider in this area, in this region, belong to CDPHP, and they will take CDPHP insurance. But that varies depending on which HMO you're with. So you do have to check with your HMO about whether they accept your provider or they don't. Okay, Candy, are you still on with us? No, okay. There's a message from one of our members to Candy with his email address or her email address. Do you see that one, Kathleen? Can you send that over to Candy to make sure she gets it? You can see it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll send it over.
Okay, all right, we'll get that one to Candy. She's left the meeting. And the next one too, about what does Anthem have to do with United Health? Send the, yeah, if you will, Thomas, if you will send that one to Candy, she can answer that question for you too. Okay, any other last minute questions? Very good. Thank you so very much. We're only 11 minutes over, not terrible. I thank you so much for sticking with us and for your attention. I hope this information was helpful to you. We will be doing more of these. Please encourage people who are not RPEA members to join. You know, go on our website, go on our social media. You'll find lots of ways that you can convince them to join. And thank you again. And I hope you all have a very nice rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.